discussing determinants of demand, and at the same time we'll also discuss market demand. So let's start off with the first determinant, which is the price determinant. So in this case, we have two different points, point A and point B. So let's say if the price goes down from 10 to 5, which means that we were previously on point A and now we are at point B. Because of this, the quantity that is being produced increases. So this shows us the relationship of how when there is a decrease in price, there is always a decrease in quantity demanded. And so that's one determinant of demand, that whenever price goes down, demand or quantity demanded actually goes up. And this increase from 10 to 20 is known as an extension of demand. So whenever there is a movement along the demand curve, we can classify the movements as extensions or contractions. And in this case, since the quantity is increasing, we will call this an extension of demand. And if it was the other way around, then we would call it a contraction. Now let's move on to non-price determinants or factors. And so the first one is income. So there are two different types of goods we'll be looking at in this case, normal goods and inferior goods. So let's say if your income goes up, you would think, or some people believe, that when income goes up, people start consuming more and more goods. I mean, that is partially true. People start consuming more and more normal goods, but not inferior goods. So let's take an example of, let's say, a Louis Vuitton bag, right? So this is a Louis Vuitton bag, and this is basically, let's say, a very cheap bag. So as your income goes up, what's going to happen is that you will start demanding less of the cheap bag, less of this one, and you will start demanding more of the Louis Vuitton bag. And so that means that this cheap bag is actually an inferior good for you. And so as your income goes up, your demand for the bag actually goes down. And in the case of the Louis Vuitton bag, it's a normal good for you, because as your income goes up, your demand for this bag is actually increasing. And so we can describe the change in demand as a non-price determinant by the use of income as well. Now let's move on to the next example. So the second example is, or the second point is, price of related goods, right? So this is the second point here. So let's say this is the demand curve for Coke, and what's happening is that the price of Coke is going down, and as we discussed over here, it's due to this price determinant of demand, and so there is an extension in demand of Coke, right? This is the extension of demand. And because of that, what's going to happen to Pepsi is, this is the market for Pepsi, and whenever there is a non-price determinant, there is always a shift in the demand curve, or even for supply, we'll look at that later on. So there's always a shift in the demand and supply curves, and whenever there is a price determinant, basically whenever there is a change in price, then it is represented by movement along the curve, as I showed to you guys over here. And so in this case, what's happening is, for Coke, the price is changing, and so it's a price determinant, because of which there is an extension of demand. For Pepsi, however, the price remains the same. The price did not change, because when he change, I mean, there was no change in price initially for Pepsi. It was still at this point, right? Let's just call this 10. Sorry, not this point. This is the second demand curve. This point is actually at this point. So now what's happening is that since there was an increase in demand for Coke due to the reduction in price, there is a change in demand for Pepsi, because Pepsi and Coke are substitutes. And so if a person consumes more of Coke,